Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Speak and Grow Rich podcast with your host, Amanda Moxley. Today, I am bringing you Joy Bufalini. She is from Simplify to Multiply. She helps her clients go to that holy grail of six figures by enrolling 3 clients at $3,000 a month. Simplify to Multiply. Welcome to the podcast, Miss Joy.
Thank you so much for having me, Amanda. So excited to talk about this topic.
Oh, amazing. I know you are a super successful entrepreneur. You've been doing this for so many years. What actually, how can we make six figures? How can we actually go? You were telling me before that you're closing these 5K, 20K deals in your inbox. How do you do that without having sales calls? Give us all the goods.
Happy to share. Absolutely. So when it comes to the idea of simplify to multiply, we want to break things down to their simplest components and look at what are the simple things we need to have in place to get a system that's bringing you those consistent higher ticket clients, those great clients that you love to serve without being on the phone with them for hours and hours and lots of, energy drains and links and I can't afford it and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
So, we really want to first look at how we're positioning our offer and really look at the offer first. A lot of times I think we're throwing strategies out there, throwing spaghetti at the wall, especially when you're building to your first six figures. I was totally doing that in my first couple years. I was making it way too complicated and I was trying to create these funnels and low ticket offers and memberships and, just tripwires and all of these things. And I was making it so hard for people to actually work with. And what I realized kind of doing the math, former math teacher here, like, wait a second, I only need to make $8,400 a month. Now, that was a lot at the time. But when I did the math and said, what if I could bring in 3K clients every single month? Oh, there you go. That's $104,000. Interesting. And at that point, I had never made more than 20K in a year, those first couple years. And at the time, I was selling like $997 one-to-one coaching with me, and it was just like, come on, this is ridiculous. You're giving so much.
Do the math, people. Do the math. Exactly. I love that you're a former math teacher. Okay, this is all making sense.
So I just made the decision. I knew I was delivering value. I was serving clients. I'm like, the price is 3K to work with me. And at the time it was one-to-one. And of course my offers have morphed and changed over the years, but it's 3K. And I'm like, decision made, I'm going to own that. And initially I did sales calls, with all of that and, getting to know what I call your yes client. And what makes it easy to enroll those 3K clients is when you're really clear about who is the perfect fit person for this offer. Who's the perfect fit person? Like, where are they at right now? What's true for them now? I call this the point A. Right? Where are they at right now? What's going on for them? What challenges are they having? Get really granular with it. And it's different than like, we've all done the ideal client avatar. Like, what are they reading? How old are they? How many kids do they have? Generally not very helpful. Instead, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? What's going on for them at 3:00 in the afternoon? Like, really get into their head and understand them. So when your content or even your speaking can really show that you really understand what's going on for them, and then clearly show that you can help them get to the point B where they want to be in your offer, and be really clear about how you help them get there. I think this is a part a lot of people leave out, like, hey, sign up for my 3K thing, and people don't actually know what they're signing up for. And I think in today's market, where it's a crowded market space now too, it's a lot different than years back when I first got on Facebook for my business, that you have to really show up and say, here's how I help you get from here to here. And it's clear and it's concrete, and that builds trust. And then people are like, here's my credit card. Let's get started. Journey. So it gets a lot easier when you get more clear and specific.
So good. Simplify, clear and specific, A to B. So how do you get this inbox money, baby? How do we get this inbox?
Well, here's the thing, most of the time when people hear about like, oh, get clients in Messenger, they're thinking about the people who are spamming them in their DMs right now, which we all hate. I'm guilty of being a little snarky with them sometimes.
Totally.
So, talking about at all. So with clients getting in your inbox, it's about them taking the first step. This makes all the difference. They are magnetized to what you're saying. They are drawn to you. And in your content or in your speaking, in your videos from the stage, whatever it is, you're giving clear and direct calls to action for your program by name. So they know exactly what to do as next steps. So if you read a piece of my content, you'll hear me say a little bit about blah, blah, blah. Here's who it's for. Here's what we do. If this is exactly what you need for your next step, send me a DM about the Quantum Leap program. When you reach out about the Quantum Leap program, I'll ask you a few questions about your business. If you're a great fit, I'll send you the information. No call needed. Simple, right? Like super, super clear. Like they know exactly what the process is going to look like. And I follow that process to a T. And if somebody isn't ready, I feel like they just started their business and they're not quite ready to work with me, give them a few voice messages of a few recommendations. Like, hey, I recommend go do this, go do this. Yeah. And you are future clients, right? But they start the process. So energetically, I'm not pulling them. They are pulling themselves to you. All the difference. They are leaning in, and now you're responding to that, right? So there's no needy, grabby or energy going on there. It's just like, I think you'd be a great fit. Here's the details. And you don't have to do that, go right to enrolling clients in Messenger. You can totally do some of this process in Messenger, invite them to a call, but the idea is they start the process. And that's what energetically sets you up for you being desirable and having a really nice flow of clients who are like, oh, I'm an Amanda fan, I'm a Joy fan, I'm a Susan fan, I'm, whatever the case may be. They are sold on you rather than you having to try to convince them why they need to. It's a different energy.
Let's get a little granular here for details. Some people want, so how many posts a week are you actually inviting people to roll into your DMs and have this call to action? What does that look like? I know you personally run ads. We were talking about that offline. So you're running ads, but you're also doing organic. What is your ratio for people who may not be running ads right now?
Absolutely. And first of all, ads are completely for audience growth, not pitching, not calls, nothing like that. It's just like, hey, are you interested in this simplify to multiply message? If so, great, follow along. We got lots of value for you. That's very different than people who have been following me for a little while. And people generally don't reach out to work with me until they've been following me for 6 to 9 months, maybe even longer. Sometimes people have been on my list for 3-4 years. It's a week or two. Somebody did come in from an ad. Like she got herself like follow me on Facebook and following my content, even though my email nurture sequence is 30 days long. She took herself in the fast lane, which is cool. And she's a great client right now. Generally speaking, I say share a variety of content. Make sure your content is really interesting to who your yes client is, right? And you're sharing lots of insights. But generally 4 to 6 times a month on my email list and on my Facebook is my main place, Instagram's my secondary. This totally works on LinkedIn as well. 4 to 6 times a month, talk about your offer by name. What this does is this builds the compound effect. People will read it, gloss over it, read it, read it. Oh, I remember her talking about that before. And then the next time they read it, they're like, oh man, I can't figure this out. I really need some support. Then they see your call to action. It says to DM her. Okay, I'm going to send her a DM. Or it says reply back to this email. All right, I'm going to reply back to this email. So that consistency and that compound effect, it'll feel like a lot to you. It'll feel like, oh my God, I'm in their face with all these sales emails. People only catch like 10 to 15% of your stuff, maybe 20 to 30 email list. They're not seeing every posted email. You are. So you've really got to up the ante in talking about your offer and being clear and specific with directions on what to do next. Otherwise, you're really not getting many people reaching out, and I think even with my clients who, most of my clients still do sales calls until they're really confident in their process, then they sometimes move to that. But I even recommend like not putting the link to book a call within a post or email. People good. Gloss over it. Like we've seen it so many times, they just don't take action, but reply back to an email or they send a DM. They're taking an action. That's a leaning into you. And psychologically, it's kind of like, okay, I'm putting one little big toe in here, testing out the water here. And that's how we all make decisions, right? Like we're like, let's see what this is all about. Instead of like going into a call blind, booking a call, knowing like, what are they going to sell me? What are they going to pitch me? I teach my clients to actually share some certain assets to a client before you have a call with them. So we create
Okay.
specific assets. So they have a really clear picture of like the offer and what they do. They don't have to know everything before the call, but they've kind of warmed them up a little bit, and they're not into that call like, what's the offer? What are we going to do? How does she get results? Like, we want people to feel safe and secure going into that call. They have a really good idea of what your expertise is.
That's good. So warming them up with some assets. For example,
Yeah.
what I do is I have them fill out a pre-call form, and then I also will share with them my client love list. And I'll
Love that.
even say, if you're interested, here's the information page. So
Yes.
some assets, just like, hey, by the way, this is what this is.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, so 4 to 6 times we're
Yeah.
doing a call to action, DM me, lean in, take
Mhm.
this breadcrumb. How many
Yes.
other times a month are you posting? How many times a week are you posting?
I'm
Just
pretty,
value
now
and
this might feel overwhelming to some of you who are listening if you're not there yet, but I do pretty much every day. I have a content bank of ideas in my laptop that I get a ton of them from working with clients of like, oh, this topic needs to be talked about more. Or I just, you get a brainstorm, get an idea when you're taking a shower or taking a walk,
Mhm.
so just keep a content bank. And the more and more you get to know your yes client, like who is the person for your signature offer. You may have more than one offer, but I recommend like one main client that is your sweet spot that you lead with. Be thinking about them all day, just be
Mm.
in that phase of like, what do they need to hear from me? And so pretty much every day on social media, Facebook, Instagram, I'm sharing the same content in different places. Email, a couple emails a week. Again, I have team to help me with that, so it's not all me doing that. But I was able to definitely get to those 3 clients a month, and then eventually get 5 to 6 clients a month until I was like booked with 25 clients in 2018. One-to-one clients, like, okay, this isn't scalable. So then, of course, I made some hybrid offers and I had to, change things up a little more. But it's absolutely possible with small list, no team, to
Mhm.
really have advantage of people reaching out when you're really intentional with what you're sharing.
So do you batch your content big? Do you like on Monday you're gonna go and put like 5 posts in there, or is that what you
I
recommend?
do. I do. I think everybody's a little different for how your brain works. Like I have my content bank, but then I have a running Google document for team to put things in different places, and sometimes I'll get it. If I have an event coming up, an online event or something like that, and I've got some content I want to write for that. Sometimes you just get the inspiration, follow it. I think trying to force yourself into it can be really difficult if you're like, I don't feel
Yes.
it today. I'm not feeling it. So
Mhm.
I recommend going with the flow, when you're feeling inspired and creative. Here's the cool thing too. Once you start creating this, what I call client converting content, you can reuse it. Like,
Right.
little secret, every piece of my December content is old content recycled.
Yeah. I do that
So
too.
we up with the date and the time and everything. So like I built assets, in the past that,
Yep.
yeah, that content brought in clients, brought in leads, yeah, we're going to reuse that. So
Mhm.
that's the whole thing. It's like you're not always recreating the wheel over and over again, or there'll be certain themes that you talk about over and over again. You'll feel like you're repeating yourself sometimes too, by the
Right.
way. I feel
Because
you
you
can't.
are.
I've said this 5 different ways, but that's good because
Right.
it takes the compound effect of like, oh,
Yes.
And remember, we're all reading content with notifications, text popping up, dings and pings and distractions. I mean,
Yep.
happens to
Well,
all of us, happening to the people reading your content. So they're just
mhm.
getting pieces here and there. So
That's
I
good.
think today's marketing, though the dynamic of today's world of all the noise and notifications, we really do have to show up a bit more. Doesn't mean you have
Right.
to be on media 24/7. Most of my stuff is scheduled.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Do
yeah,
you do
do
it
it
at
out.
least once a day, or do you do 2 or 3 times a day?
Yeah, usually just once, unless I feel like I want to share my cat picture, cat of
Okay,
the,
yeah.
or something like that.
And what are you, I've got
Mhm.
2 questions. Do you
Yeah,
do you have a Facebook group as well?
I
Do you do
do.
groups, or do you just do on your personal page or your
Mhm.
business page, or
Yeah,
both, or all 3?
all of. I have a group, and groups aren't doing what they used to unless you've got a large group. Mine's close to 4,000. But it's worth it to me, especially because it's just like, here's one piece of content. All right, day 1, it goes on my Facebook personal page. Day 2, it goes to my group. Day 3, it goes on via email. Day 4, it goes to Instagram and gets shared to my business page. And then piece
Mhm.
number 2, again, can have the same flow, right?
Rotates.
That, piece 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4. Piece 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4.
But you schedule it. What scheduling tool do you use?
Well, within Facebook groups, you can schedule it
Right.
organically, which is nice. On your personal page, if you have in Facebook, if you have a professional mode, you can schedule your post. So I can schedule it ahead of time, but I can't. I have to do that. My team can't do that. My team can do the group and emails, but only I can access my personal profile. So usually I grab what was in the group or what's in the Google Doc, and then I can just schedule it organically. I scheduled like 10 days of content from my phone from a Google Doc
Great.
when I was traveling a couple of months ago. So it's possible. It's just being intentional, thinking it through, having a plan, making sure you're speaking to your yes client. And honestly, people are spending, and I'm not judging anyone because I used to do it, spending so much time on things that are not client generating activities.
Right.
So my rule of thumb is 3 things you need to focus on. 1, serve your clients well.
Right.
Number 1, always, right? Clients come before marketing, clients come before selling, the clients come first. So serve your clients well. 2, create content that speaks to your yes clients. Like that's actually priority number 2. If you don't have content out there, people don't know your magic, right? And if it's not consistent, you'll get lost in the noise. 3, engage with the people who reach out. I mean, you think who's not going to do that? But if you're really intentional, comment on comments on your posts.
Mhm.
Make sure you're responding to emails and DMs and engaging. So, there's so many
Mhm.
people online. They want to know you're a real person. Oh, when they DM me, by the way, I'll say, this is Joy. This is not a team member or AI or, or automation or anything like that. It really is important that it is me and they feel seen and heard because I think that the human element, can kind of
Right.
be lost. But so you really only need to focus on those 3 priorities: the clients, the content, and the engagement. And engagement includes sales conversations, of course. And then
Yep.
I would say, fourthly, once you have these first 3 dialed in, yes, grow your audience. Like once you're
Yes.
starting a steady stream of clients, you just need to get in front of more of the people who are like your clients that you're serving now.
And how do you recommend people grow their audience?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be ads, and I don't recommend ads till you're well past 6 figures and it makes sense with your cash flow. There's a ton of ways to like participate in summits, online
Mm-hmm.
events, be a guest presenter in other people's groups, pitch yourself for things. You can, even just using like connections, follows, Facebook friend requests on Facebook. If you
Mm-hmm.
know what your guest client looks like on social media, you can it's not too hard to just connect with more of them. Sometimes it's just more like shots on goal. If I spend 15 minutes a day connecting with, new people, set the timer, 15 minutes, done. Okay. That compound effect is going to pay off and you'll never have to run ads if you don't want to, or you can, eventually. Again, it was an expense I probably did too early in my business.
Right.
Now that I know what's working, yeah, just add water, right, to what's
Right.
working.
Now, when you're doing your audience growth, do you
Yeah,
recommend giving them PDFs, freebies? Is
yeah,
that like bringing them on your list? Like, what would you what do you do?
absolutely. So, it can be, generally speaking, like if you're doing presenting or something where you can share, a link, a way to follow you. Definitely, if you have a PDF to share with them, like something that really gives them a taste of
Yes.
work, that's great. If you're on social media and you're just connecting with new people, of course, let's say they become your LinkedIn connection or they follow you back on Instagram or they accept your Facebook friend request, they're just going to see your social content. But
Right.
regularly share your opt-ins, your freebies on social media. So because
Mm,
I don't own social media, it's great for connecting with people. It's great for getting in front of, new people, but ideally you want to keep moving them over to your email list because you own that. That's
yes.
that's your long game strategy.
So good. Now we have to address the elephant in the room, the
Yeah.
algorithm. The
Ah,
algorithm, outbound links, Facebook doesn't like it. They don't want you bringing people to your website. So how do you overcome this algorithm that doesn't like marketers? Back in the early days, it was easy. But
oh,
now, 2023, 24, it's a different
yeah.
situation. How do we hack that?
Absolutely. And if we could, this is $1 million question, right?
Yeah.
Right. We all knew that if we all showed up like I was talking about. It's interesting. Like you can be a little, trick the algorithm and link in the comments, or it's link in the
Right.
bio,
Right.
and that you can definitely it's workaroundable. I've had plenty of people sign up for things through
Mhm.
LinkedIn, you know. I think the thing is that if you're sharing too many boring things, sorry, let's just say it, you're sharing these kind of like boring quotes or, resharing other posts, the Facebook
Right.
and is liking it or commenting on it. Facebook is going to think, okay, nobody's interested in your stuff. We're not going to show it to other people, right?
Right.
So you go check out my Facebook personal profile, for instance, you'll see on Sunday, and I scheduled it a few days before because I actually was not online on Sunday. What's been the most impactful spiritual or personal development book you've read? Rob's
Mhm.
that again, you're engaging people. I see all kind of people commenting like, "Who's that? Never saw that name before," right?
Yes.
So
Engagement posts are everything.
engagement posts.
Yes.
Share your cat pictures and your dog pictures. Just don't let your whole feed be full of them. Let
Right.
them know like you're a holistic human being. You're starting conversations again. I think sometimes when somebody's blaming the algorithm, maybe they're just not being intentional enough, right? Or
Mhm.
it does take a little time and a little attention, and just being a little creative hasn't been too much of an issue for me so far. Thankful for that. Thankful for social media. Love it or hate it, right?
Yep.
A huge thing that in the early days of our businesses, it
Mhm.
was mostly email was the thing. So this is a
Mhm.
nice opportunity for sure for us to be able to connect with more people and people all over the world. I think this is
Right.
so cool. Like 30% of my clients in 2022, last year, excuse me, were international. Like that
That's
was just
cool.
cool. Like the impact a person can have with their message,
Mhm.
doesn't just
Yep.
have to be your town or your state or your country. Like literally we have the opportunity to reach people all over the world. And it feels
Yes.
so good to know like I'm helping somebody in Malaysia. I'm helping
Wow.
somebody
Yeah.
in France, helping somebody in Belgium.
Mhm.
So there's that worldwide effect when you really start showing up and sharing, and people share your posts, and word gets around,
Mhm.
you get referrals, all of that. And it gets easier. It starts becoming more fun when you're intentional, and let it be simple. It's
Let it
somewhat
be
a
simple.
mindset. It's sometimes a mindset.
Yes.
It's not just a strategy of like, you know, all the things that are complicated and are not client generating activities. It's also like a belief. Like I believe
Mhm.
in simpler, and you will act in accordance with that. You will think in accordance with that.
True, true, true. Simplify to multiply. Love that. Okay, so tell us, how can we stay in touch with you, learn more from you?
Thanks so much. Yes. Well, you could get my freebie, which is called the Daily Needle Movers Cheat Sheet. So the three things that I share, the top three priorities, I go into more depth, have a short video on it, and it's at simplifytomultiply.com. So simplify,
Oh,
T-O, multiply.com. You can grab that cheat sheet and download it. You'll have it in front of you like, hey, I just need to focus on these things. And if you want to connect with me on Facebook, just give me a follow, give me a friend request, say hello. Would love to connect with you.
thank you, Joy. I hope everybody enjoyed today's amazing content. This was huge. Who wants inbox money? Put it in the comments if you want inbox money right now, and
Awesome.
grab her download at simplifytomultiply.com. Guys, watch the next video. It could be life-changing. And not only that, take action on what you learned today. Take action, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you, Joy.
Thank you.